Welcome back to How To Video. In this session, I'm going to help you get your story straight. Most of us experience that moment. You came home later than expected and found your mother's eyebrow waiting up for you. You experience a sinking feeling in your stomach as suddenly you realize the story you had planned may not go over as well as you expected. Believe it or not, this is often what people feel as they sit down to edit their videos. The reason is that somewhere in the process they lost track of what they were trying to say. In the next several minutes, I'm going to give you 5 steps you can take before you ever pick up a camera to make sure that your video says exactly what you intend for it to say. Many people think of video like a megaphone, broadcasting out to everyone in range. In reality, though, video is much more subtle, more like a chat in a cafe or a coffee shop. If you shout at the entire room, you're just going to turn everyone off. First, you have to determine who you're speaking to before you can decide what you're going to say. Thus, the first key to finding your message is selecting your audience. If you're a missionary working on video correspondence for your supporters, this isn't difficult. The key is simply that you be specific. You probably have a wide variety of people tracking with your ministry, yet to most effectively share your message, you'll probably want to narrow your focus to a specific group. For instance, most of us have a sending church or a church in which we have significant relationships. The chances are also good that you know that church pretty well, so you don't need to do a lot of research to figure out how to speak to them. Now think of someone within that church, someone who you feel is both representative of the body and with whom you feel comfortable. As you plan your message, and even as you shoot your video, imagine you're speaking to that person. Just keep in mind, you're not alone. You don't want to say anything on video that you wouldn't be comfortable with anyone overhearing. So your first task is to be specific about who you're speaking to. Next, you have to be specific about what you're going to say. Believe it or not, your video will only say one thing to most people. So you have 2 choices. You can either lay out a whole buffet of thoughts and ideas, letting everyone choose the message they most want to hear, or you can choose the one thing you most want to say and ensure it's so clear that everyone will get it. Your video is like a journey. You're the guide, and you're taking your audience somewhere. You can't just turn suddenly and head off in a completely different direction. It's okay to make stops along the way, to make a point, or to share a meaningful story. The important thing is that every stop you make is on the way to the final destination. The simplest way to think of this is that you can only send one message. This is the most important thing you can possibly do for your video. Decide what your one message is and make sure it's the most important message you can possibly send. We've all experienced a great story that was made painfully boring because it was told badly. So it's important that your message be shared well. That can be a little intimidating, but it's not as difficult as you might think. The key thing is to make it personal by sharing the story you're the most passionate about. If you don't care, nobody else will either. But if it's really important to you, your energy and your enthusiasm will captivate your audience. The next consideration has to do with your on-camera personality. I find there are 2 types of people in this regard. There are the people that want to plan everything out and the people who just want to wing it. Regardless of which type you are, most people get a little nervous when the camera starts rolling. Nervous isn't bad. It can often give you a little bit of extra energy. However, how you plan your message can have a dramatic impact on whether that energy is going to work for you or against you. If you're a detail person, you'd probably like to script out and read or recite exactly what you're going to say on camera. The best idea is to make an outline with bullets, but not with specific sentences or phrases. You'll sound more natural if you're just speaking than if you're reading or reciting, but you need some structure to keep you tightly focused on the topic. With a script, you'll sound stiff and awkward. With nothing, you'll ramble. A little ramble is okay, but a lot will kill your video. Your outline is your credibility. It will help your passion and your energy shine through your words and tighten your focus as you speak. Finally, it's important to remember that what you say can be radically impacted by how you say it. Think about every aspect of your video as you're planning. How should it look? Where should you be? Are you the right person to talk on camera, or is there someone else who can share your story a little bit better? Every decision that you can make, you should make. Be creative, but let each decision reinforce the fundamental message of your video. Here are the 5 keys to getting and keeping your story straight. First, be specific about who you're speaking to. Second, remember, you can only say one thing. Make it the most important thing you can possibly say. Third, make it personal. Remember, if you don't care, no one else will. Fourth, maintain your credibility by using an outline and not a script. Finally, plan not just what you're going to say, but how you're going to say it, so that every aspect of your video reinforces your message. If you can do those 5 things, you've already got a great video. The rest is just fine-tuning. Next, we'll be grabbing our gear on How To Video.